Hello,
Hola!
another review. And this time, I said to Quino here,
This one has been hyped.
this one's been hyped as a classic, old school British beer.
And I like my old school British beers.
Man's Brown Ale.
Oh, that's amazing! Man's Brown Ale. My granddad used to drink Man's Brown Ale. Oh,
2.8%.
I'm looking forward to this. I've not had this for a good while.
The original brown ale since 1902. Man's Brown Ale. 2.8%. First brewed at Man's White.
2.8%.
2.8%.
That's a worker's beer. That is, you can have half a dozen of those at lunchtime and still go back and do your afternoon shift.
First brewed at the Man's Whitechapel Brewery in 1902. The historic recipe produced a dark, rich, full-bodied ale with luscious flavour. 2.8%.
Luscious.
And hints of roasted, creamy toffee. So it's now brewed by Marston's. Sadly.
All good things.
Yeah. The tasting notes, light and refreshing. They had to be 2.8%. It has hints of raisins and chocolate. Dark ruby, black in colour. The beer is topped with a light caramel-coloured head. It has a malty, sweet aroma. I've never had this beer before. I knew you had.
I have had this beer before, and I'm hoping that you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Really?
Yeah, it's. I think you'll find it.
It looks like one of those beers.
Less kind of comedy than you think.
It looks like one of those beers in terms of the label and the design. A beer that you still see old posters for that got discontinued 50 years ago.
Yeah, the ones that you see in pubs, the old tin advertising posters that are slightly rusty around the edges.
The Watney Man beers, in fact. Yes. Let's not comment on that. Right.
Okay.
Smells of nothing in the bottle. I like the bottle. I like it's a classic.
Yeah, not much going on.
I do like it's a classic old bottle design where it's like big and thick here, big, long, thin bottle. Anyway, right. So. It is quite dark.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be browner rather than.
No. It's fairly dark. It's a proper nut brown one. Not like that one we had earlier that claimed it was a dark lager and it was nothing of the sort.
But it was nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess this is not bottle conditioned.
No.
Did bottle conditioning even exist in the days of Man's Brown Ale? Probably.
I wouldn't have thought so. No.
Right.
Okay. So let's have another. Let's give it a whirl and a whiff.
Oh,
there's something coming out.
Nice.
Now. Yeah. Sweet. It's got that sweet.
But it smells like slightly nutty, like slightly chestnutty.
And for those who've been following these, we had a supposed chestnut. Well, it wasn't a chestnut beer. It was chestnut flower beer.
From Corsica.
Which we couldn't really taste the chestnuts in. Decent beer, but we couldn't taste the chestnuts.
But if you want to learn more, go back and watch the review. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. 12 reference. Okay.
Okay, so the way I'll describe this, it's a very thin, mild.
Yes.
It's a really, really thin, low alcohol mild, and it is 2.8%. So yeah. I didn't,
I was just going to say it is 2.8%.
I can't expect too much.
You can't expect a huge amount from a 2.8, and it's also based on an old. It's a very old recipe. This is old. This is mild as your granddad had it.
If anything, this is the best. Actually, no, it's not the best under 3% beer because there's a particular beer by Sauerkraut which is called Half Mast, which is incredible.
That's very good.
But this is so much better than I thought it was going to be. It's got a depth of flavour I was not expecting from a 2.8%. I was expecting to be thin brown water, but it's not. It's got a nice.
It doesn't taste chemically.
No,
which again you think of a kind of a cheap beer whacked out by Marston's on the to sell Tuppenny Halfpenny. You think it probably tastes a bit naff. It doesn't. It actually genuinely tastes. And the old cask test. Could you imagine that on cask? I think that would work out pretty well.
I would say that over Green King IPA any day of the week.
I'll take a badger over Green King IPA most days of the week.
I was expecting it to be like Newcastle Brown Ale because in fact it's called Southern Brown Ale because it's got a classic.
Newcastle Brown Ale has been for history lesson for you kids out there. I grew up on Newcastle Brown Ale, one of the first things I could buy in the pub underage. And it has been, even then it wasn't particularly brilliant, but it was all right. It's been debased since then, massively.
It's okay. This, pretty good, actually. It's nothing, I wouldn't call it anything, it's not going to set anyone's heart on fire, but...
You're not going to write postcards about it, no.
No, but it's got a lot of flavour for a 2.8% beer. It's pretty decent.
There's also not a huge amount of... It's carbonation in it, obviously, because it's bottle. It's from a bottle, but it's not overly fizzy. It's an easy drinker.
I would love this on cask, actually.
I think on cask, it could work really well. I don't know if it's ever been on cask. I presume at some point, possibly hundreds of years ago, it might have been. In beer terms, hundreds of years ago.
This on cask would be a fantastic lunchtime session beer.
Yeah.
Actually. Which obviously what it was for originally was as a lunch. So do you reckon when people used to drink it back in the day, it was on cask?
I genuinely don't know. I think it would be quite interesting to find out. Obviously, we won't sit here and attempt to Google it now because that would be quite dull. But perhaps we can add it as a little thing in the comments at the end of the video when it's posted. If it's not been in cask, Marston's, give it a go. Try it. Because I can't imagine it cost a huge amount to make. And actually, in these days of kind of post-hipster irony, having your great-granddad's beer on cask, this might be the new thing. This could be the way forward. Screw your sours and your saisons. Actually, an old school 2.8%
absolutely
brown ale could be the way forward.
There's an interesting taste notes on the net here. It uses a word that, in fact, is a very excellent word, biscuity. And this beer is biscuity, but in a good way. It's just, it tastes like a beer version of a really nice digestive biscuit.
Yeah. The one thing it's missing the kind of the lower taste kind of tones. It's not got that nice, rich, velvety undercurrent that, say, for example, Mag's Mild, when it's really on form, has got. It's got that sort of lovely, velvety undertone. But again, nothing that perhaps a slight tweak to the recipe to put it into cask couldn't sort out.
Yeah.
So would you? So you're convinced? I'm pleased.
I actually quite like it. Well, I've always said before that I always, and I've said this on reviews in the past, that I always am far more impressed with a brewery that has packed a nice flavour into beer that's under 4%. And this is under 3%, so I'm slightly even more impressed that they've managed to get in a lot of flavour. Because you can pack, and we had these beers tonight, not tonight, sorry, last year. No, in the other reviews me and Quinn have done, they've had 8% beers, 6% beers, and they've had a good amount of flavour to them. But I think I always prefer a beer under 4% that's got a significant amount of flavour. So.
Yeah. And again, it's never met a hop. It is just a proper old school sweet brown beer. And there's nothing wrong with
this.
That.
Would be weird.
This would be
weird if it was hoppy.
No,
it wouldn't work.
I think it would have a strange edge to it. Yeah, it wouldn't. I mean, that's part of the joy. It was crafted to be what it is.
It's biscuity and malty, and it's very decent.
Yeah.
So, if you see a bottle of Man's Brown Ale in a supermarket, I don't think I ever had. Actually, I buy most of my beers online. Try it.
Don't dismiss it. Give it a go.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty decent. I just love the old school design. So, comment, like, subscribe. Let me know if you've tried this on before. What do you think of it? Bye.